Some of you aren't strong enough for this video, but if you like a nice heavy racket, stay tuned because my top 5 is coming up. Ben here from PH Tennis, and today I'm going to take you through my top 5 heavy tennis rackets. Now, what makes a heavy tennis racket? Very, very simple. We are saying anything that weighs 310 grams and above. So that is a static weight, obviously, unstrung static weight. Anything 310 and above will go into the heavy category. Now, heavy rackets are usually the reserve of bigger, stronger, higher level players. It does not mean that you cannot use them, and in fact we advise everybody to use the heaviest racket that they can control, the heaviest racket that suits their game. The reason being, the more mass you have in your hand, the more efficient your shot will be. If you swing a 280 gram racket at a ball and you swing a 320 gram racket at the ball in exactly the same way, the heavy racket will give you more. The challenge is whether you are strong enough to actually use that heavier frame. So before you go in too deep into this video, just have a check, make sure you can actually handle that heavy racket. It's amazing the difference a few grams here and there can make, and I will explain a little bit as I go why some of these heavy rackets are more accessible than others. So without further ado, let's get started with number 5. So here it is, the Wilson Shift Pro 99. Now, 99 is the head size, and you will start to see a bit of a theme with these heavier rackets, is that as the rackets get heavier, usually the head size shrinks with it. Now, this is because heavier rackets are designed for stronger, higher level players who also likely to benefit from a smaller head size. Now, there is one other aspect. The heavier rackets are usually harder to maneuver, essentially swing about. So having a slightly smaller head size, shifting the balance slightly towards the handle, kind of counteracts that and allows them to still be usable. Now, this is what happens with the Shift 99 Pro. Very, very easy to use considering its weight. It is one of those rackets, and you're going to hear this a lot in this video, it plays lighter than its mass. So even though it is a heavy racket in your hand, when you're swinging it about and playing tennis, it doesn't feel like it until the ball rockets off the strings. And with the Shift Pro, you get loads of spin, it's what it's designed for, loads of power, and incredibly comfortable. So in terms of a heavy racket, the Shift is a very, very easy to use and is quite fun to play with, which should often get lost when you are stepping up into the more heavy, serious frames. So there we go, number 5, the Shift Pro from Wilson. At number 4, here it is, the brand new Eone 98 Tour from Yonex. Now, this has to be here. Joe would not allow me to do a heavy racket video without the Eone 98 Touring, and I do actually like it myself. For a heavy frame, it is incredibly maneuverable, it is incredibly comfortable, and is just a fantastic racket to play with. We love all of the Eones here at PH Tennis, but as you start stepping up and you start getting a little bit stronger, you need the racket to just be a bit more under control. The Eone 100 maybe gets a little bit loose. The Eone 98 is heading in the right direction, but the Eone 98 Tour, this racket right here, is just a perfect balance of power with a bit of control. It feels comfortable, it is responsive. Those bagworms are doing a great shift in this racket, giving you perfect feedback through your hand. It's just one of these rackets that doesn't pigeonhole you in the way to play that you would expect. So, Eone 98 Tour from Yonex is my number 4 heavy racket. In at number 3, we have the Pure Strike 97 from Bablat. Now, this is the only Bablat racket that satisfies our criteria of 310 grams and over. And fortunately, I happen to really, really like it. I had used the Bablat Pure Strike for a long time. So I'm very well versed in how the strike feels and how it should play. And this Gen 4, the 2024 version, has just changed the strike's feel in a really, really positive way. So there was a lot of criticism of the old ones being a bit stiff, being a bit uncomfortable, but the new versions of all the Pure Strikes, in fact, especially in the 97, we get this very, very maneuverable, very, very comfortable, really responsive heavy tennis racket that essentially allows you to play however you want. Now that's a little bit strange. The Pure Strike is a front foot precision control racket, taking the ball early, picking your spots on the court. But because of the extra mass and because of the maneuverability, you can generate loads of spin and plenty of power as well, even if you're on the back foot, even if you're defending. There's a very Pure Strike feel to this racket. It's really hard to explain. I've done it in other videos in the past where it kind of feels almost heavy and floppy at the same time, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It just feels like it begs to be whipped through the ball. It feels like a bit of a sledgehammer on a rope almost, and it's one of those rackets that just sort of puts a smile on your face whilst you're playing with it. So if you like control precision rackets and you want to just sort of up the weight a little bit, the Pure Strike 97 would be a great place to start, as are all the other rackets in this video, but especially the two coming up. But Bablat Pure Strike 97 is my third favourite heavy racket. So in at number 2 and at number 1, a little diversion that Joe is very uncomfortable with, we have two rackets. We have the Yonex Pette 97H and the Radical Pro. Time for an explanation. Both of these rackets are heavy and both of them play like they're not. And this is why I really like them. My issue was trying to separate them and put them in an order, is I just honestly don't know. If I had to play a match tomorrow, I would be perfectly happy to use either of them. I've been using the Pette 97H a lot recently, which is probably why, if I had to gun to my head, this would be number 1. But very recently started using the Radical Pro, and it feels like it's going to take over and be my new favorite. So depending when you watch this video, it might have swapped around, hence why they're both next to each other. The main reason they are so maneuverable is because of where the balance is in the frame. So the weight is just come down towards the handle, which means you can just chuck them around a little bit more easily. They've still got that heavy mass. They're plenty powerful, even though they're designed to be controlly and precise. There's so much juice in these rackets. They're really easy to serve with, and I love serving. I have a big first serve, and these two just allow me to really go for it every single time. You get loads of spin. Essentially, you can play however you want when you get a good, maneuverable, heavy tennis racket. As soon as it becomes a bit clunky, a bit cumbersome, you end up sort of being pigeonholed. So as soon as that isn't the case, and you've got these really easy to use, really fun, good looking, in a surprising way, I actually kind of like both of them, heavy tennis rackets, you can't go wrong. So my number 1 and number 2 are the Yonex Pette 97H for heavy and the Radical Pro. There we have it. Not particularly useful, I'm aware, a little bit confusing, but like I said, you can't go wrong. In fact, can't go wrong with any of my top 5. There we have it then, my top 5 heavy tennis rackets. Remember, this is just my top 5, the ones I would choose to use. I have very specific characteristics that I look for, which might not necessarily align with yours. I hope it's helped if you're in the market, if you're thinking about trying a heavier racket. Just remember, you want to be able to play with it exactly how you want. Don't start relying on your racket to do the work for you. That is a quick way to get very frustrated with your tennis. As usual, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and if you have some comments, that's great, but maybe save them up for our next live, where you'll get a direct response almost immediately. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me again soon.